Brilliant. Greetings, potential audience. You know? Greetings, people. You know what? Let me put this on so then I can turn it. I can turn it, rude boy. Nice. Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah, guys, I put the signal out, see who tunes in, man. I want to talk about current events. There's too much going on for us not to be talking about it. I know I recently done a live at my brother's, but now we got this new camera stand and lights and shit. I can do it anywhere, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and speak on this. I'm calling it Dark Winterz, Cold Wars. Yeah. So let a few people tune in. I'm gonna run off on this quickly, run over a few points to do with this whole narrative. We've stepped out of 2 years of lockdown, and now it looks like we're going to go into a few years maybe of war, man, and everything that war entails. So let a few people tune in, and we'll go ahead and have a discussion, build on what's happening in the world right now. There's a lot happening. There's a lot not happening among us as what we got to do. So yeah, let's have a chat, man. Let's see who tunes in. Give it 2 minutes, innit? You know the drill. Grab yourself a cuppa or a smoke, and let's go. My recommended read for the day, while we're waiting on people, yeah, is Carlos Castanada. I don't know how many of you have heard about Carlos Castanada. Most people haven't heard about him unless they are avid readers, and they if you're an avid reader, you've heard about him before, especially if you read books like Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist, The Pilgrimage and stuff. They learnt from him. Do you understand? So yeah, he's a very obscure writer, yeah, and he writes about our type of stuff. So I recommend this book, man. All the books that I recommend to you guys are books that kind of blew my mind. Whether I was in prison or outside of prison, it's books that I feel like after I read this book, this changed my life. This changed my outlook on, you know, dimensions and stuff. The fifth dimension, third dimension, esoteric knowledge, Mexican shamanism and mysticism, to going back to the Olmecs and Mayas and stuff. So people like Paulo Coelho learnt from him. Yeah, he's a world-renowned best-selling author of 12 books. Yeah, and David Icke even mentioned him in one of his books. I can't remember. I think it's Tales from the Time Loop. David Icke. He puts a quote from Carlos Castaneda, who was speaking about reptilians and shit. That's how I found out about him, by reading a David Icke. I seen one quote from a Carlos Castaneda, and I thought, yo, I want to find his book or his books, you know. So with that being said, I'm gonna say, Hu pa necheru menunu cheyu kawun lalul bihu. He, she, the mother, father, creator, spirit, who nothing exists except by way of he, she, the mother, father, creator, spirit, the source. We are all children of the all. Pa ashutachil asoru. Come on. No, actually, I'm going to do the affirmation. It's more important. Party stuff bad. Anuki fi pa ashuk shil kulum wa kul ashuk kalun fi ni. Anuki farugun shil kulum wa kul kalun farugun shil ni. Anuki wahed ka kulum wa kul kalun wahed ka ni. Nuk aikilu anjihu kama farugun shil kulum wa kub kama fariyudun. Nuk aikilu akwenu kuldek nuk akfuzi fi kulum kama tawul kama kafuzi kanumlia amidu fi kulum. Anuki kabaha wahud. Kulum kalun anuki, kulum yakulnuk aikilu, kulum doranuk abmilu. I'm from for all, I'm on the all. I am in the love of all, and all love is in me. I'm a part of all and all is a part of me. I am one with the all and all is one with me. I can succeed as a part of the all and fail as an individual. I can be all that I wish in the all as long as my wish is to stay in all. I am never alone. The all does, the all is I am, the all does I, the all can I can, the all does I do. I get mixed up with the translation sometimes. Yeah, we're going to go ahead, shout out to Melinda Morgan. We're going to go ahead and unpack these current events that's going on, this pantomime that we see going on around us, because there's a lot of leaks coming out. You know, with the narrative, there's a lot of leaks coming out of this narrative, man, where you can see, hold on, this is some kind of counterfeit narrative. This is all, it's been set up this way, many years in the making, many moving parts that are very convincing. A lot of us have been convinced by some of these moving parts. We really feel like, yo, certain parts of this narrative is for real. It's putting a lot of us in a certain predicament where it's hard to tell what's real and what's just some kind of false narrative. So I wanted to unpack this little here discussion. Hope y'all can bear with me. Shout out to the forum family, the Telegram family. Shout out to Stacks. Shout out to Alethea, whether they here or not. Shout out to Official J Bars, Talisha. Shout out to Melinda Morgan. And shout out to all Dragon Slayers out there that is standing in their truth, speaking their truth. You understand? And setting boundaries. Yeah, shout out to all of y'all in however way you're doing that and doing what? Doing your own part in this current revolution, yeah? So yeah, man, first and foremost, let's speak a little bit about the Cold War. Because remember, Joe Biden was talking about it's going to be a dark winter. And this dark winter that we so feared that it's going to be peak, like how it was in Texas in 2021, we kind of thought that, yo, so what went on in Texas in 2021 in winter, that might be what's coming in this dark winter for 2022 for most of us. That's how we was thinking. I was thinking like that. Yo, it's going to be a real harsh thing. And also with what we revealed in COVID-1984 about the wild viruses and flu season and how they're going to reshape the narrative. And you see they've done that now. They've told you that this Rona is now become like a seasonal flu. So we told you this in COVID-1984, the follow-up to Coronation, Agenda 21, the scamdemic. We said, yo, that's what's going to happen. And when people die, they'll blame it on them flus and wild viruses and stuff. And then say, oh, well, I'll just say CV. The CV now is just like that anyway. So it's kind of classed as the same thing. Anyway, we never seen this dark winter that Joe Biden and them and other politicians everywhere across the board, they were telling us this here. Boris and his cabal were telling us about dark winter. Joe Biden was doing it. Trudeau was doing it. What's that woman in New Zealand? Ardeen, whatever Ardeen, the New Zealand Prime Minister. They were all doing it because they sing from the same hymn sheet. You understand? Like they did with that term. What was it called? Build Back Better. And then all of them start saying it, all down to princes, Prince Charles and corporate people. Sorry, I need to mute. I should mute my notifications. Corporate people, even Hollywood celebs and sports people and stuff are talking about this Build Back Better stuff. Hold on, who's giving me messages now? Yes, tell it, my brother. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Respect to whoever sent that, if you're watching or not. You get me? That's what they're doing anyway. So I'm saying all that to say, yeah, going back to the Cold War. The Cold War, how they told us in school, was about after World War II, yeah? So after all that World War II stuff with the Nazis and stuff, and remember the Nazis, they got stopped by the Russians. It was the Russians, the Red Army, who was seen as the kind of like heroes because they stopped the Nazis at Stalingrad when they beat up the Nazis when the Nazis tried to go into Russia and stuff. So the Cold War that they give us, based on the official narrative of World War II, is that Stalin and the Russians, they stopped Hitler and they stopped the Nazi SS forces, you understand? And so Russia became a superpower and America became a superpower. They tell us in school, they give us the implication that these two were benefited the most out of stopping the Nazis and what happened after World War II. They benefited the most in terms of technology and the growth of their influence and power as a nation. Let's put it that way, yeah? That's the official story that they give us. So they give us a story of Russia, or the Soviet Union, as it was called at the time, the USSR, the USSR is a communist thing, more like socialist communist thing. And they give us in school like we're in a democracy. Obviously we know we're not, but we're supposed to be in a democracy, or what they call a democratic system, where the people have the power and we have the power of vote, and we can change the government if we feel like no confidence in them, we don't feel like they can do their job and stuff. You know what it is between the difference between democracy and communism. I ain't got to explain that for you guys, but I'm just giving it to you like this. They shaped the Cold War narrative that they gave to us through public education based on that simple, daft little story. Yeah, you had the communists and you had the democratic, the allied, unified forces with the Western world, Britain, France, America, whoever else that's in the allied forces. You understand what I'm saying? That's a democratic thing. Communism, that's a totally different system of governance that's running in places like Russia and the Soviet states. And then the Nazis, they weren't even like democratic or communist or none. The Nazis style themselves as the real socialist, and not socialist in the form that they tell us in school of the socialism. They give us this concept of socialism in school, which is just like capitalism and communism. The real socialism really means that it's a social thing, like it's the people, kind of like a democratic thing where everybody contributes to the progress of the nation. Do you see what I'm saying? But anyway, even though they style themselves as socialist, or the German socialist whatever party, because they didn't call themselves Nazis, they call themselves the socialist something or the other. Yeah, they class them as a dictatorship. Okay, so they don't even give people no rights or nothing. So you got the democratic nations, and you got the communist nations in the form of the USSR. Yeah, and they both want to stop these Nazis. The ones that end up stopping the Nazis is the communists, Russia and them. Yeah, they have disagreements about the way they want to do stuff. Obviously, they got two entirely different systems of governance. Yeah, so they told us that America just don't like Russia, and Russia just don't like America. And so we had what's called a Cold War, where they didn't really go to war with bombs and all of that stuff, but it was more like a psychological war. I spy on you, you spy on me. I try and beat you to make a nuclear bomb, you try and beat me, or who's first to get to lower Earth orbit. You know, all of that kind of crap. We're not sharing information with you guys about criminals. We'll keep that shit to ourselves, so we don't have no intelligent. Like they had a Cold War where it's like tit for tat, yeah, but it never really blew into a full-blown war where people are dying because Russia and America are going at it. It never turned into a full-blown war. And then after President Gorbachev, he came to power in Russia. He was the one, well, the Soviet Union fell apart under his watch. He's got that big bald patch on his head. I remember seeing him as a child when I was watching TV. He had that ugly birthmark on his head. I never used to like the birthmark, so I always remember him. I'll always remember that figure. But anyway, Gorbachev, the shit fell apart under him. When they ask Putin now, yo, what's the biggest tragedy of the 20th century? Yeah? You know what he said? He didn't say slavery or Hiroshima, you know, where loads of people lost their lives, or none of that kind of shit, or the Great Depression, or none of that. You know what he said? He said, yo, the breakup of the Soviet Union. That's how these men are thinking. These Muzungu Russians, these Siberian, Denisovan Russian man them, yeah, which is literally the root of the Caucasians. The Caucasus Mountains is there. They're the root of that shit. They're tough dudes. Not even the cold can beat them. Them niggas live in the snow and shit, that. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, that's the narrative that they gave us, yeah, based on World War II and based on these two superpowers that have developed on either side of the world. Do you understand? They're telling us that that is the Cold War. But what if I was to tell you that is a false narrative? The Cold War's got nothing to do with Russia not liking America and America not liking Russia. Let me tell you what that shit's really about. Let me light my spliff, yeah? And I'll get into the details. I mentioned it on the reels that I've been posting on my Instagram pages. And guys, you're probably fed up of seeing my reels, yeah? The reason I'm doing it, my sister told me, remember I told you I'm being shadow banned? She told me, listen, use reels, because reels have got a bigger reach than like just normal memes, normal posts and like videos and stuff. And I never used to use them. I've never did it before. And then one day I just thought, yo, let me make a few reels, just like a few short messages like they do on TikTok and shit. And it started working. Like I'm getting traffic on my page from that. So that's the reason I'm doing it. I'm not doing it because I like to hear myself. You understand? I'm doing it to try and beat this algorithm and get the page popping. So if you notice, I've took my page off of private and put it onto public. So people don't have to ask me no more. I'm tired of like having to, because I deny a lot of people, don't get it twisted. I'm not on here for likes. There's all type of weirdos that have requested my page. But now I'm more like, you know what, let me just focus on what I'm doing. And whoever weirdos, if they come up, I'll just block them out. You understand? But anyway, let's get down to this business of what this Cold War is really about, yeah? So, if you listen to most of the credible, like, army people, army brass, high up industrial people who are spilling the beans, they've all got a similar thing to tell about World War II, yeah? Most of them, especially when you're dealing with the Navy and you're dealing with the Air Force, report what they called in World War II, the word that they used was foo fighters, F-O-O, foo fighters, that basically UFOs. These UFOs just kept popping up. You know when like they're having air battles, like couple Nazi planes versus couple of Churchill English planes, yeah, and a couple of these pilots are seeing UFOs and shit that they're calling foo fighters. Remember, this UFO phenomena hasn't kicked off yet. This shit's just beginning. Do you understand? Roswell's just happened, so this shit's just really starting. Remember, Roswell was 1943. It's around the same time as World War II, when that shit started going on, the Philadelphia experiment, Roswell, all of this madness. Do you understand what I'm saying? So a lot of the people that started to spill beans about World War II, especially now, because you know they wait like 50, 60 years after they put them blockers on shit, so you can't release no information till that guy's dead, and that guy's dead, and that bitch is dead. So you can't put them in jail or hold them to account or nothing. This is how they do business, these archons, yeah? So anyway, now, because we're like 70 years past that time and shit, so since about 20 years ago, stuff started coming out. And the people that are speaking about World War II kept, or there's a pattern. A lot of them mention these foo fighters. It's a theme of World War II. You can put it in Google and it will come up with a whole bunch of shit. Like it's not just a one-off thing. It was an actual trend where people are seeing what they call in unidentified objects. So they call them foo fighters. Do you understand? So I say that to say, one of these generals, I can't remember his name, one of these army brass, he said, listen, World War II involved aliens and World War III is going to involve aliens. So now, taking it back to what I said about the Cold War, they needed a cover story for what has happened on Earth since the Roswell incident, Philadelphia experiment, Manhattan Project, Project Serpo, all these different projects here, and because it's caused UFOs to start coming back into this realm. I'm not saying they were never here. They never interfered with us. They stayed in the background because they're not supposed to interfere with our evolutionary chain or the evolutionary cycle of any creatures that they encounter on any planet that they go to. There's, like we've said in other lives about the cosmic laws and all of that stuff, if you go back to them lives. Do you understand? But now we've invited them in many ways because, one, we're doing all this sorcery and stuff. When I say we, I'm talking about them Muzungu people that are like Jack Parsons and Robert Oppenheimer, who we've spoken about, Albert Pike, Adam Washout, these Illuminatis, these, you understand, they start summoning these demons into this realm So they're inviting these demons into this realm, and then the actions that they're doing, like dropping the bomb on Hiroshima, nearly cracked the surface of the earth. We've said this before. We nearly ended it for us, for humans, when we dropped that nuclear bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki and Cambodia, because they dropped them in a couple places. The first one was in Hiroshima, and up to now we can still see the damage. But that caused such eruption, like we said on the other live, that not only are we inviting these beings into our realm now they have to take action because we're endangering them. So a whole bunch of unexplained activities started to happen in our realm, and they needed a cover for that. So that's why they made up all these organizations like your FBI, your CIA, your NSA, your IRS, your MI5, KGB, Mossad. Like every country has got their own form of these like secret police, and it's compartmentalized. So every organization deals with a certain different branch and a certain different thing, and it works as a machine. And it's like this: the people who work here don't know about the people who work here. Them people who work here don't know about the people who work here. Them people who work here don't know about the people who work here. The only people that know in all of these organizations is the people at the very, very, very top. Everyone under them, they're none the wiser. Do you understand? But the people at the top, they're all in cahoots. They're a machine. Yeah, but they keep it compartmentalized. So when it comes to covering shit up, like there's no tray. The tray will always end short. It doesn't really spread nowhere, if you see where I'm getting at. So the Cold War was designed to hide the fact that now we've got greedy governments and greedy multinational corporations that are into US industrial military complex and elite families and politicians that are having secret meetings with UFOs, with aliens, with extraterrestrials, whether it's your tall whites, whether it's your greys, whether it's alpha draconians, whoever. These beings are now coming to the planet. And like I said before on other lives, when they come to the planet, they ain't coming to see Jedefre. Jedefre ain't got no reach. If I come on here, there's probably, look, what? I've got 8 people watching me right now. So they're not going to come to Jedefre. I'm only going to reach 8 people. They'll rather go to Biden. Because if Biden, even though we might think Biden's a dickhead, if Biden says it on telly, everyone's going to tune in and listen to what Biden said. Or Boris. Or Kim Jong. Or fucking Vladimir Putin. So these extraterrestrials they go to the groups with the most influence. Yeah? And they liaise with the beings on Earth who are running Earth. Me and you are not running Earth. Do you understand? We don't really have that kind of influence. So they're not going to worry about me and you per se. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they needed a cover story for certain things. So the best way to cover up everything that's going on, this weird shit, is war. Because in war, if you got missiles flying, bombs flying, the threat of nuclear war, whatever you see can be explained in war, really. You can say, well, it was a nuclear bomb, man, and that's why the fucking sky looked like it had another planet in there, or a ball. It's just easier to sell this narrative of war and keep us in this same loop. Remember, this has been going on since World War II finished, yeah? We ain't even had a moment of respite. Soon as we went into the 50s, there was already talk of World War III and new wars and this nation going to war against this nation, and Gaddafi's the new threat, and terrorists and Islam and rare. And we've been building up to this time slowly, because they've used war to distract us from what's really going on. Like, we're not asking ourselves, hold on, who came up with this stealth bomber thing where it's invisible? That's alien technology. Do you understand? And also, by creating war, they get to use all of this new technology in a way that they want to use it. Like, they're not going to use it to benefit the earth. So in order to use it now, they could just sell us war, because they could say, well, somebody invented that plane because we needed to be able to hide from radar. So some smart aleck just woke up one day and figured out how the planes can refract the light so it don't bounce back. So you can't even see this bastard thing, this stealth bomber thing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and they manufacture all these tanks and planes, but behind the scene, they got better equipment than that. Every now and then, this equipment filters down to us in this society, whether it's the army have got this new killer robots, or these drones with AI in them. They've had them shits for a long time, and they just 10 years after they might release it to the public, or it might be a medical breakthrough, a medical cure. This is that's come from the Greys or the aliens or whatever. Do you understand? But if they can keep the world in a state of war, they can keep the world away from this technology, because we're never ever getting to solutions to the world problems, to like hunger, disease, like because don't get it twisted, even though I don't deal with no vaccines, I am aware that there are vaccines like for polio. I wouldn't take it even if I had polio. I'd turn to nature. If I'm supposed to die, I'm supposed to die, or whatever, innit? But there are certain things that Greys have gave to these Muzungu. Because remember, this vaccine culture, that's their culture, you know. Natural people don't function, melanin people don't function off no synthetic drugs, no pharmacia, no vaccine program. You need vaccine for flu, you need vaccine for measles, you need vaccine for polio, you need vaccine for this, you need vaccine for that. Like, we're not that people. You understand? We squeeze up some ginger, you know, eat some turmeric, some lemon. We're that kind of people. We from the forest and shit. That's what our genes and our immune system is about. But let me go on anyway. So they made this Cold War to filter down this technology between the West and the East, meaning Russia is the gatekeeper in that part of the earth, in the east side, and America is the gatekeeper on this side. And this is why I've said before to some of my Muslim brothers that when in their hadith they talk about Gog and Magog and or Juj Majuj, let me use the Arabic term. When the Muslims talk about Juj Majuj, that's the same as the Christians when they're talking about Gog and Magog, or the Jews when they're talking about Gog and Magog. This is all scriptural, biblical shit. And what it says is there's going to be two people. One's called Gog and one's called Magog. And they're going to rise in the east and west. Yeah. And when they rise, they're going to do so much damage. So much people are going to die at their hand. It's going to be a madness. That's basically a summation of what this passage says about Gog and Magog. And I've told Muslims and other religious people before that your Gog and Magog is actually just America and Russia. Like, do you know how much people have died at the hand of American war and foreign policy? And the same goes for Russia. Yeah, Russia might have never invaded Africa, but they've gone around their part. Yeah, them Soviet states and the Eastern Bloc, and they've killed loads of people. Do you understand what I'm saying? These, you got to understand, like I said, these are Neanderthals, man. They got that bloodlust. They need the war as well to test out their new technology and fight amongst each other. Even though they're friends, they do fight amongst each other, like I've said in my book, Coronation. They fight for dominance and who's going to have bragging rights and we're going to do it my way. No, we're going to do it my way. Okay, now we're going to verse each other to see who gets to do it their way. That's what their politics is all about. So the Cold War was a kind of like fake history, just like they give us this fake history about Tartarian since the 1800s, they're white. It's the same thing they do with even history now. That Cold War shit wasn't no war. That's why they never went to no war, dropped no bombs on each other or nothing. They was trading technology. Why do you think when they announced this International Space Station, the two heads on the project is Russia and America? So they got Russian scientists on this space station, and they got American scientists and other people, other nations on this space station. But they working together behind the scene, just like Bob Marley and Jacob Miller said, rest in peace. They're not enemies. Do you think when Putin visits these leaders, he's having an argument with them? Yo, bro, rare, and they're having a scrap. These men are sitting down drinking tea. They're going to play golf. They're sitting there all cushy and shit, smiles on, even when Trump was going to visit him and that. Because like I told you guys, they've all got roles. It doesn't mean they don't fall out with each other and shit, but they've all got assigned roles. Do you understand? Sometimes they snitch on each other. They say, you know what, let me just trip this guy up because I don't like this guy. Even though they're batting for the same team. Because it doesn't matter who wins. It doesn't matter if Democrats win or Republicans win, or if Labour wins or Conservatives wins. It's the same shit. Do you understand? So in their cabal, they have their own squabbles for dominance and stuff like that. But the Cold War was a false narrative designed after World War II so we wouldn't figure out that, hold on, all this technology that's coming to the earth isn't from no war. This shit's coming from aliens and stuff, and from contracts that our governments have made with aliens. So aliens can snatch people up and abduct people and experiment on them greys and stuff who are going extinct. They have to do that shit. So, okay, humans, we'll give you some technology. Have a DVD, mate. You don't have to use VHS no more. Have a DVD, stick it in. You can start at the back. Go, yo, you understand? Simple little things. It's alien technology. It's not from Earth, from humans and stuff. Medical breakthroughs and certain little tracker chips and AI and certain stuff. That shit don't come from humans. So the Cold War was designed just for that. And also, don't get it twisted, it's also to cover up the fact as well, they are getting attacked. Yeah, they've been under attack since the year 1970, when they started getting attacked. Their nuclear sites, aliens started shooting up their nuclear sites and stuff, and certain government officials get targeted and shit, and then they blame it on, like, today America killed the Iranian second big man in Iran. America bombed him and killed him in there. Yo, that's more like some Anunnakis or someone killed that nigger in there. And they tell you on the news that America and Iran are enemies, so it was America. They found out where he was, the FBI, and they bombed that dude. Trust me, it's more likely to be that. Do you understand? They're giving us these war stories, and when you see me saying that, don't listen to the government, this war is fake, I'm not telling you that war's not going on in Ukraine or anywhere else, you know. War's going on there. But what I'm saying to you, the prime ministers and the government, they're the gatekeepers. So they can instigate a proxy war. Say, okay, we got to piss the people off so much. Yeah, Putin's going to do the same, and it's going to end up in a clash. Ukraine against fucking Russia. So we have to rally the people. We have to, like, make that resentment against Russia. We have to, like, invite Western companies here, you know what I'm saying? So people who are really buying this shit, like Russians who are really buying Putin's narrative, they're pissed off. Ukrainians who are really buying their prime minister's narrative, they're pissed off. Just like Boris and them are trying to do here now. They're trying to rally up what's called, is it national service? That means the government might say on the news one day, oh, we need people to go and fight Putin, to go and fight in Russia. And if you're of age, you have to go and fucking fight, like that conscription shit, like that they tried to put Malcolm and them man on back in their day. If you refuse, you can go jail and shit. They locked up Muhammad Ali and certain man because they was like, yo, I'm not gonna fight no Viet Cong. They ain't called me no nigger. Do you understand what I'm saying? But that's what they do. So because Hitler failed, you got to understand this, yeah. In World War II, in World War One, the Mazungu in Germany were given a mission to breed the perfect Aldebaran, meaning that them germ people, that's why they call germ man, they're the man of germ. You understand? The germ man, yeah? Them who come from the Aldebaran, they had a lot of defects. They wasn't like the smartest bunch. So they had to go through a breeding program that they show you in the movie The Boys from Brazil, which Hitler eventually ran for these Pleiadians, these tall whites, and these Aldebarans to breed the perfect. They wanted to get, like, I'm trying not to make it sound racist, innit? But they wanted to breed their people more like black people, faster runners, stronger, more prone to, you understand what I'm saying? More complete humans. And they got very close, but they failed. You understand? So they was given an extension, yeah, after the war in 1945. They was given an extension by their archons, yeah, up to the year 2000. And if they don't succeed, yeah, then there will be a great harvest when their overlords, these Alpha Draconians and stuff, will start snatching them up and just yamming them, using them for slaves, taking them off planet to Draco or wherever, so you can be slaves to reptiles, or using them as sex slaves, or in their hybrid programs, because even the reptilians have their own hybrid program and shit. Or they will use them as a food source, where they'll just be like, "Cha, my man, just put him in the fucking chicken coop." Yeah, sorry about my language. And let's just nyam him. So that's what the Great Harvest meant on one side of the agenda when it was mentioned in the Bible. You understand? these guys failed. They had a number of experiments on what you call, you'll be familiar with this term, eugenics programs, to iron out the defects in their race. The certain conditions like autism, leukemia, blah, blah, all these different little things that they used to suffer bad from it until the Nazis started working with what's called eugenics. They started it to breed what they call a perfect man in the image of the Allah Baron and shit. So that's why it's so important to them, sports. Because until they can beat us at sports, they ain't built that perfect man. So if you notice, every time we have the Olympics, they're very focused on the gene pool. One of the commentators gave it away on when Usain Bolt was lashing them all. When Usain Bolt did that 9 minutes 50 something, 9 minutes 57 or something, basically under 10 seconds. No Mzungu man, none, ever, has ever run under 10 seconds. That might seem like nothing to us, oh, it's just a race. It's just, yo, to them, that's everything. So the commentator says, because there was one fast white man in this race with Usain Bolt in this race, and he was, I think he was from France, he was rapid, he was rapid, yeah? You know most Mzungu ain't keeping up with the brothers. This guy was keeping up with the brothers through all the heats and shit. So he was like, yo, this guy's a sensation, he's lashed all the brothers in France and shit. So now they're putting him up against like, who is it? That American guy, I forgot his name, man. He was running against Bolt and shit, but he was fast, little stocky dude. You get Tyson Gay and all them, man. They run this Mzungu man with my man. Usain Bolt did 9 minutes 57, like just bust under 10. I think that was the first guy to do it in modern time. I think Tyson Gay has done it before, but he never did it then. I think he might have did it then. There might have been 2 or 3 black guys who did it on that night with Bolt, but Bolt did it in that fashion, like he did 9 seconds, 9 seconds, 0.57. So mad thing like that, do you get me? And so the commentator says, oh man, scientists are gonna have to go back into the gene pool tonight to figure out why no European has ever run under 10. So that alone, yo, there's significance in what he said there. Scientists are gonna have to go back in. They go into the gene pool and study this shit in their eugenics to make themselves better, to make themselves into what they call supermen or the super soldiers. Yeah, so Hitler and them had this program to do. Yeah, Nazis were still running. Hitler didn't die. Yeah, they were given an extension to the year 2000 to perfect their species. Yeah, them niggas even reached the moon. They had moon bases and everything, these Nazis. Yeah, so when you go back into Sumerian tablets, there's a deity called Nana Sin, who's the son of Enlil, who was seen as a demon. And the temple in Iraq where they found the Stargate, yeah, the ancient Stargate, is his temple is assigned to Nana Sin, yeah, and his symbol is the crescent moon and star, where Muslims don't even know, they still praying to Nana Sin, talking about Allah. And that's why Sinai or Sinai is called Sinai, because it was the region of Nana Sin, that was his region. Each deity was assigned to a different region, do you see what I'm saying? But that's where they found the Stargate, and he's the one who is the head of the order of sin. Do you understand? So when you go to the Cain and Abel story on the Sumerian tablets, and it says Cain's offer wasn't accepted because he did all the wrong shit, yeah, he went through the door of sin. When it says through the door of sin, we're just thinking about sin. But what it's saying is he was embraced by Nana Sin. Nana Sin and them took him, and he was their human. So that's why he started moving a certain type of way, because that's how they live in the land of Nod and shit. Do you see what I'm saying? So this great harvest, Nana Sin has been returning to Earth and snatching up Tamahu since 2000. And this is why they've been showing you on X-Files and all that shit, because there was a build-up to it and they knew it was going to happen. Yeah, and they snatch up a certain amount of Tamahu every year. The great harvest already started since the year 2000. You understand? And over the last 70 years, they've hidden this information from us, because they're constantly telling you about the war in Syria, the war in Libya, the war in Afghanistan, the war in Iraq, and none of these wars ain't bringing no solutions to what's happening in the world. The characters just keep changing. Yeah, Syria was the last one. Now it's going to be something else. Do you understand? Now it's a world war thing. Because now they can get to say, well, the Ukraine, everybody's invested in it. Canada, England, America, they've got like billions, hundreds of billions invested in this Ukraine to make Ukraine democratic and bring it into NATO. And Putin's like, yo, not in my backyard. And what you have to remember as well, I'll get to that anyway. So yeah, what's interesting as well is George Bush in his Skull and Bones initiation and stuff, his Freemason nickname is Magog. Do you understand that? And Magog also links back to Goliath and the Anakim, who was Nephilim people or the children of Nephilim. When you go back to your Torah in your Bible and you're reading about Goliath and them, yeah, and you read the giant, yeah, you're talking about the same group of beings, yeah, the same group of beings. And one of the leaders of these giants, that some of them are called Raphaim, some of them are called Zuzumim, some of them are called Anakim. There's different clans, tribes of them. Do you understand? And over time, a lot of them got wiped out, so they stay in the background. There's still some here, and they stay in the background. Do you understand? And some people have their genes. A lot of them people in the NBA and shit. You understand? But anyway, where was I saying? What was I gonna say? Gog, yeah, one of them giants in the Bible, the leader, I can't remember which clan it was. His name was Magog, or Gog. I think it was Gog, yeah, or Og. But anyway, it's all the same, and also it's the same phonetically as the word cog, as I break down in COVID 1984. Cog means continuation of government. So if anything happens, like let's say a meteor came and dropped in the Pacific and wiped out half the population, they've got a government that live underground. They don't come to the surface ever. They've got president, deputy president, everything they've got in America above ground, they've got that shit underground, and they call it COG. So if anything goes wrong, they can still continue this scam and continue their grip on power from these people like Dick Cheney, who were working from underground. Yeah. And I wanted to say as well, I've been talking about this Trump thing for a long time. I could turn into coronation right now, yeah. But I'm not going to waste time finding the page, yeah, where we start breaking down how Donald Trump is a Jesuit, and he's from the Sinclair bloodline, which is a Scottish bloodline, which is one of the Illuminati bloodlines, meaning the 13 Kabbalistic bloodlines. That's one of the families. And I'll say again, that family traces back to Robert De Bruce. Do the research. Watch Braveheart with Mel Gibson, and you'll see the character in there, Robert De Bruce, yeah? And he is Donald Trump's family. Donald Trump and them descend from him, the Clintons as well, because the Clintons and the Trumps are family. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are related. They're not enemies. They're not arguing. When you're not looking, when the camera's off, they're having dinner together, man. They're planning the next stage of this shit. So Donald Trump, he's acting for the House of the Dragon, which is a masculine energy. They deal with the brash, what you would call a lot of hawks come out of that House of Dragon. And you have them in the Democrats too. But mostly the House of Dragon is on the Republican side, which is a masculine thing. So you don't really get much feminine influence and leadership in the Republican Party. You more get that in the Democrats, which is the House of Phoenix, which is a feminine energy, I've said before. That's why it focuses a lot on the female characters like your Nancy Pelosi's and your Michelle Obama's and your Hillary Clinton. Any feminine energy they can get to throw in the spotlight, they're going to do it that way. Whereas the Republicans would do it with the fucking males, with the army brass and shit, with the House of Dragon. So I was saying a long time ago that Donald Trump is not to be trusted. Look at Trump's brother. What was his name again? He before he died, yeah, and that's really suspicious way that he died, caught COVID and shit, yeah. Remember, we can't forget these things. We can't go on like we got goldfish memory. We got to note down all of this shit here. That guy there was heavily linked into QAnon. He said before he died, his own words, that he is QAnon. He's the face behind it, and how the Kennedy, which Kennedy was it? The Kennedy's son. I don't know if it's Robert or some other one. Someone that's supposed to be dead, one of Kennedy's sons that's supposed to be dead. According to this QAnon crap, and Donald Trump's brother, they were saying that, oh, on the elections, the US elections last year, yeah, that how Kennedy's going to turn up there. Do y'all remember that shit? He's going to turn up there and he's going to be sworn in and the people are going to back him. And just think about it, man. Imagine, yeah, like, let's do it like this. You, the viewer, yeah, you get to be president of America. You're now the president, yeah? You're not down with the cabal. You know about all this adrenochrome culture, sex trafficking culture, what's going on in the world, yeah? you're pushing the narrative that you're gonna lick down and clean out the swamp, yeah, and drain out all of these people what you know are pedophiles and you know they're tax dodgers. They're basically the demons just raping the planet in every kind of way. So now, if that's the case, yeah, would you not tell the people? Why would you do it secretively? Yeah, to the point where you can be censored on Twitter, and you as the president, you don't even have no power to uncensor yourself or to shut down Twitter. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, but you're supposed to be chasing these traffickers as the president of the world, yeah? You know everybody's behind you because they asked you about QAnon. Many times they asked Trump about QAnon. Oh yeah, they like me. He don't want to say too much. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows his brother's behind it and whoever else in the army who's loyal to him or whatever. Do you understand? But when they get in trouble, the best thing they could have did is just tell the people what one. Say, yo, it's true. Hillary Clinton and them, blah, blah, blah. Or this, blah, blah, blah. And yo, it's for real. And I'm going to need the whole world to be behind me because we have to clean out this cabal. You're not going to do it secretively and then get censored and chucked out of office and people are still talking about you're going to do something. You couldn't do nothing when you was in office, when you had the power of presidency. You're the #1 guy in the world. You got all the power to do whatever. You can push the button and blow niggas up. That's what you told us. You understand? But you can't uncensor yourself. You're no different than me. Like when Instagram want to censor me or Facebook want to censor me or YouTube. You ain't got no, oh, it's a hoax thing. So I don't understand how people up to this day, they still think, and don't get me wrong, I'm not being a doom and gloom, doomsday philosopher saying nothing's going on behind the scene. Of course there is. Yeah, there's higher forces working on our behalf. But I'll bet my house and I'll bet my life to rest clear that no Muzungu man is doing that for us. Talking about he's initiating it, like Trump's the one who's doing it, or this guy, or Russell Brand, or nah. I'm not having none of that. Do you understand? Higher forces are working for us, not no Muzungu man, politician, or fucking, nah, mate. Y'all still with me, yeah? Yeah, so Trump's brother lied about that Kennedy shit, man. Yeah, and you got to understand, these cabal, this House of Dragon and the House of Phoenix, they verse each other because they want to have bragging rights for the Antichrist, for bringing in the Antichrist and bringing in the system of the Antichrist. Whichever side brings in the Antichrist, they've got bragging rights. It's like a competition thing, like a rivalry, a sick rivalry. You understand? And that's why they create patriotism, because patriotism and nationalism, that blinds us from the bigger agenda about, hold on, humans as a whole, we're in trouble. We're in problem. But every time you listen to America, they'll say, God bless America. That's like me saying, yo, God bless me, and forget about all you viewers that are viewing what I'm saying. Do you understand what I'm saying? America will just always, yo, God bless America. What about everybody else, man? Other people might need the blessing more than America. Ain't got no food and shit. But what I'm saying is that creates patriotism. Oh, I love America, this flag, this constitution. I will kill for it. I'll go to someone's country. Yo, it's a sickness. You understand? It's a sickness, man. So they made nationality up so they could separate people like that. So we don't get the bigger picture that, hold on, patriotism and nationalism, even black nationalism and shit, that shit there's, yo, hogwash. That shit there's another box, another trap. Yeah? So we said in this book here, and remember we put it out before the vacations, we told you guys that Trump has shares in DARPA. That flew over loads of people's head. When I said that, there weren't even much reaction till I was like looking around like, hold on, am I nuts or something? Like, how come no one wants to talk about this? Like, no one hollered at me. I'm trying to tell people, yo, my man owns shares in DARPA, you know. Oh, okay. Like, it's nothing. Like, I just talked about, yo, I went around the shop and bought some biscuits, you know. Oh, yeah, see. Like, I'm just told a nigga, yo, Trump owns shares in DARPA. You've just heard on the news throughout 2021, oh, DARPA is the one that produced this vaccine. So hold on, Trump's saving the world from these traffickers and pedophiles and shit, but he's telling you to take the vacation. He's telling you, oh, it's safe. Do you know how much people have been incapacitated and died off this shit here? Do you understand? And your guy, any of you who are viewing that still support this guy, your guy said the shit's safe. He said he's responsible for it. They were arguing, him and Biden. Yo, no, I made it. No, I made it. No, I made it. No, it's because of us we got it in a year. No, it's because of us. You understand what I'm saying? This is, yo, they're arguing about who made the thing. But most of us, dumbasses, is still, yo, my man's going to save people. He caught the thing and took the thing. He's endorsing the thing. You can see now today, certain doctors, even doctor that I quoted in here, Dr. Tenpenny, I can't believe it. I quoted you in here, Dr. Tenpenny, the shit you said about, you was against this shit. Yeah? Now all of a sudden you're with Trump and his son at rallies with all these other doctors. I did say it in chapter 6, Medical Mafia. I said, yo, half of these doctors are allopathic doctors. They're not real doctors. They're not real physicians. They're actors too. And they've got an agenda. And at a certain point, you see them switch roles and shit. It's a mad thing. Dr. Tenpenny, check it out. Trump and them are holding a rally now because they're building back up the narrative, which we said again. We said Trump's going to get a second term, yeah? And if he doesn't, he'll probably come back in at some point. They'll bring him back in because this savior shit is working. Because you got to understand this, yeah? Before Trump, people fell out of love with politics. That Obama shit made so much expectation in the world. People, not even just black people. There was white people like, I'm so glad that a black man has become the president. You better believe this. Listen to what I'm saying. There was genuine white people that I know, yeah, that was like, you know what, I'm fucking glad, sorry about my language, that a black man is coming because it shows how far the world's gone. Maybe now we can get somewhere, get past the racism. You know, like genuine white people. Shout out to the genuine white people. What? Do you understand? Even they was happy. Even most of these black people like, yo. So the whole world, Africa, everywhere was like, yes, man. We have to deal with these Muzungu like Clinton and fucking Bush and that. There's a brother in the seat. Imagine how people felt at that time. I didn't fall for it, but I can understand why people did. You understand? But what I'm saying that to say this. By the end of Obama's term, all them promises he made, change. Yes, we can. Yo, my nigga was like Jesus in this bitch. Yeah? Change. Yes, we can. Yo, we had everyone singing this thing. By the time it came to the end of his presidency, everything he said he was going to do, I'm going to shut down Guantanamo Bay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do healthcare, I'm going to do... Yo, at the end, it was kind of like a saving thing, where he had to start doing things now to try and save himself, because black people are like, hold on, man ain't did shit for man. He ain't did nothing for us, no reparations, nothing, bruv. Yeah? He's did things for these alphabet boys. He's like, yo, gender people. You understand what I'm saying? And he's done nothing for us. And he's did nothing to improve the situation in the world. And he's bombed more people with these drones than like all the presidents, last 10 presidents or some mad statistic like that. He bombed like, he was in office, what, 4 years? And he bombed like 8 different countries with these drones and killed up all these people and shit. You understand? So people were already seeing through this politics and still tired of it. They were like, okay, America, we've seen what you're doing. You just changed the skin color, but really, this guy's one of you lot. He ain't no black guy. The world, yo, politics was dead. Do you understand? Donald Trump and Biden, that election there, that had the lowest turnout. People didn't even turn up to that shit. That's how fed up with it they were. So what I'm saying is, they had to create this Trump character, some kind of buzz, some kind of, you understand, to make people start watching the news again and start watching the media again, because no one weren't watching it. No one's into politics. No one's not watching this news or nothing. It's happening again now. Yeah? And that's why I'm saying that, yo, they're going to probably bring Trump back in, because they've seen, whether we like him or not, Trump's got a lot of supporters. He's a really good actor. The nigga been on that Apprentice thing, acting on TV in front of the camera for how long? Rich boy, gone bankrupt, come back rich, rare. He's, as far as he's concerned, he's an immortal. He don't give a shit. You understand? They've prepped him as the prince for that role. Yeah, and my wisdom tells me they're gonna have to go back to him, because this Biden thing is just not working. And I actually think the Biden thing is part of it. It's deliberate. They had to put Biden in to sell Trump even more, because remember, it was like half. Half America loves Trump, half of it hates him. So now, okay, take him out and put in somebody real shit, real crazy, make America go where it never go. Niggas is giving out free crack pipes and all types of shit. You ain't never heard this shit in American history. Yeah, make it like that. Kind of like what Gordon Brown did here, but on steroids. Gordon Brown did the same kind of role here. Labour had been in for 10 years. That's not a democracy. Yo, now Tony Blair's out. Get that Gordon Brown in, who nobody voted for. Tony Blair just quit. Okay, so now we got a new head. So we didn't really vote for this dude. And that's what they do here a lot of the time. They put people in, and then the person just resigns, just quits. So now whoever's behind him, who we didn't elect, they now get to be the thing. Like if Biden resigned now, y'all didn't elect no fucking, what's her name? The bitch, I forgot her name, man. Camilla Harris. Yeah, but that's what they do here. So they're switching it. So it's not really a democracy, is it? Do you understand what I'm saying? So Gordon Brown did the same. They put him in after Tony Blair to mess up the thing for Labour. So he started doing things like going on a train. Imagine on the news it said the Prime Minister was on a train today and he had a very important briefcase with the details of like 5 million people in, all their medical details and shit. And this sloppy twat left it on the train. Yeah, all the people's information and shit. Yeah, so people's information just got leaked. You understand? Whoever found that must be having a field day. Even now, they must be still using people's shit to order stuff or whatever. Do you get me? So he started doing stuff like that till it came to a point like people were like, yo, Dan, we need to get this Labour out. Like they planned this kind of stuff. These are the Hegelian dialectics that they use. So that I believe, yeah, and I can't prove it as a fact, but that's my humble opinion that, you know what, they put Biden for a reason and they're going to bring Trump back. And by the time Biden's done, them half that hated Trump, they're going to can't wait for this nigga to come back in. So they're already building this narrative now, saying this Russia thing with Ukraine, this would have never happened if Trump was in, because Trump's a strong man. And now, like you see, I've posted on my Instagram, Trump saying he predicted this. He says China's trying to go at Taiwan, 1. He says Russia's trying to go over to Ukraine, 2. He says, what else? Iran is just about to make a nuclear weapon, 3. These are all countries you're hearing right now. You understand? It's not long since you last heard Iran on some bullshit. Do you understand? He's calling him out. He's saying China. What did he say about, Taiwan? About 3, 4, 5 things Trump's called out. This is back in the day when he, remember, the revelation of the method. So people might say, see, Trump's on our side because he knew, he was telling us. Yeah, but what if he's supposed to tell us? Do you understand? Because like I said, they have to tell us what's going to happen. So you can't say you never knew. They have to tell you. Yeah? You might think he's good because he told you. He's telling you because he has to tell you. That's his role. They're styling him as the hero. So he's going to tell you what Biden's going to do. Now you're even more likely to vote for this guy when he comes back in. But we're so gullible, we just think, yeah, Trump's on our side. Yeah? Ain't did shit but said a few words. Oh, yeah, he's on our side. Oh, well, he supported black people. And we make excuses for these people like we know them, like it's our family or it's our close friend or they done some shit for us. He ain't never done no shit for me. Anyway, let me go on, yeah? So, yeah, DARPA, he had shares in DARPA, and DARPA is part of the... He has, not had, he still has. He's got shares in DARPA. I'm sure it's like 10%. And this is industrial military complex that certain other US presidents had warned American public about, whether it was Eisenhower or Truman or whoever said that shit. Yeah. And they call this thing warp speed. Yeah. We know there's never been a vacation that's been made in a year. Vacations some take 5 years, some take 10, some might take 15. It might take 5 years just for the research. And then it might take 5 years just for while they're doing the trials, just to tick down everything that happened over this 5 years while they were trying this shit out. Do you understand? And then for the next 5 years in the public, they will gauge how many people might get injured or make it. You know what I'm saying? There's a process to this shit. They made this thing, they're telling us, in 1 year. Yeah. I put in Coronation in chapter 3. Chapter 3 is called The WHO, which means the World Health Organization, but I've put it with a question mark, the WHO, and we start exposing this shit, and we start saying how DARPA has been working on these mRNA. Remember, we're not going to get too much into this side of the thing because they'll just lock off my thing, yeah? But DARPA has been studying this shit and funding it since 2010. 2010 is 12 years ago, man. They didn't make this shit in no 1 year. They started doing that shit in North Carolina, in US industrial military labs in North Carolina. And when they built that Wuhan Institute, they shifted all of the shit to Wuhan because it started getting hot in America. People started sniffing like that Judy Mikowicz and that, who they locked up. Like, hold on here. Y'all are training these viruses and shit like Ebola to attack humans. Ebola can't attack humans. Why are you training it to attack humans? Oh, it's gain of function, innit? Yeah, so if we make these viruses worse, we can develop cures. Do you understand that? That's some fucking Neanderthal shit. If we take a virus or whatever and manipulate it and make it worse, we can understand it better. Yeah? And we can make some kind of cure from it. None of these things that they've ever manipulated have ever produced no kind of cures just to put out there. They've never got no breakthroughs or cures or nothing from this evil research that they're calling gain of function. They've made no gains from this shit. You understand? And they're still doing it with your taxpayer money. Yeah? And so this is what they did with the Rona. You understand? And they used dogs. Yeah, it's a dog thing. Remember Canaan, canine is the same word, you know. They're the dog people. They use dogs to test this shit out now. Yeah? Just like in Italy. Yo, let me go on, man. So 1 year, yeah, he's an advocate, Donald Trump, for this vacation. Like I said, he said it was safe. Look how much suffering and death has come out of it. Yeah? He signed a bill. Yeah? He signed a bill, what do you call it? Executive order. He signed an executive order that gave Big Pharma, mining your enemies, he gave Big Pharma, I wrote it in here because I was writing this book from the time George Floyd happened all the way down to just before the US election. I was trying to get it done to release it before the US election. Do you get me? I was like, yo, so it took me about 6 months. So it's kind of like a journal, like a diary. Yo, on this day, May 25th, George Floyd got murdered. And yo, this book was a madness for me. But anyway, I was writing like that, so I was noting down, oh, hold on, he just signed the executive order and put America in a state of emergency. That means FEMA's now in charge. So he's not in charge. This is another thing that flew over most people's head. So, yo, Donald Trump signed an executive order, you know, which means that America's now in a state of emergency. That means you no longer have a president. From the time Donald Trump signed that, he ain't the president, and neither is Biden. FEMA's running your shit. And most people are, oh yeah, but Trump's still the president. Oh, but I'm like, yo, I'm on the wrong world. I swear down. Sometimes I feel like pulling my hair out. Like if I had a spaceship, I'd leave. I can't even lie. I'm not even going to go on like I'd stay here and try and save the world. I will roll a zoo, jump in that rocket and fuck off. That's how much I've had about black people, like trying to show them, or any people. And people are just are just wage slaves. They just care about going work, and I can't fault them. People gotta eat, but it's like, yo, that's all they care about. Yo, I gotta go work. This money, this pay. Like, yo, let's go on. Y'all get what I'm saying, innit? Warp speed, 1 year. 1 year, yeah? So that shit ain't even been through them 3 stages what we discussed. It's still an experiment until next year, till 2023. It's an experiment. Yo. So he signed that executive order to put America into a state of emergency. And also he signed another executive order that gave Big Pharma billions. And it made it able for them to launch this worldwide scamdemic thing. And then also he had the slowest response to this CV. Yeah, he was denying it for a long time until people started dying and just blaming it on China. They're calling it the China virus or the Kung Fu virus, Kung Flu. So I just wanted to break that down about your savior. A lot of you savior before I move on. Donald Trump is not who a lot of these goofy black people think he is, and a lot of these goofy ass white people think he is, but he's gonna save some world. He ain't saving shit. He's gonna save himself some fucking money, save his family fortune, save his ass in one of his bunkers. That's what he gonna do. They getting ready to put him back in. Donald Trump come back in with the same rhetoric on gas, maybe now 10 times worse. You get me, to get you watching your CNN and Fox argue some more, or watch Democrats argue against Republicans some more while your wages is still going down. Shit's still not on the shelf in the shops. Life's still getting harder every day for you. You understand? They still eating caviar behind doors, laughing and smirking with each other and shit, and going to boards and having parties. You understand what I'm saying? And we're still in this system, and we just don't get it. And I need you Americans to start getting this shit, because y'all are the world leaders. When you wake up, America, like if we wake up tomorrow and there's a massive trucker protest in Washington D.C., New York, and California. Yeah, people are gone mad. Yo, the whole world's gone mad. You understand? Because no disrespect to Australia or Canada or whoever else, but America, they're the world leader. If niggas kick off in America, yo, the whole world's gonna kick off rapider than anywhere else. Just like we seen with George Floyd. Look what that did. That George Floyd shit upset the whole fucking world. There was probably Eskimos in the North Pole, like, yo, smashing up igloos and shit. Yo, this is how serious it was, man. That time, I remember writing this book, man. This shit was serious. I ain't never felt like that in the earth. Yeah? But we getting ready to endorse Trump social. Don't lie. There's 10 of you watching right now. I would say at least 6 of you, you would go and fucking sign up to that Donald Trump social. You'll go on there. And still, some part of you needs to believe, yo, Trump's on our side, man. Yeah, he needs to do something. Yeah, I need him to be on our side and shit. This whole narrative, this shit falls apart for me if Trump's not the fucking savior. I'm lost again. Some people need a say. They need that nigga to be Trump, who they're trying to promote. Yeah. Another thing, let's move on from Trump anyway. I've smashed him up, I aired him out, yeah? Let's move on. Elon Musk. A lot of people don't know. Elon Musk is the same like Bill Gates. Why? Elon Musk, with his Neuralink program, another thing that we sprung on you guys before it was being spoken, man. We started speaking about metaverse. We started speaking about Neuralink, yeah? And the term augmented reality, augmented humans, the cloud database. We started doing, as soon as we did that, Facebook, yo, shut us down. You understand? But Elon Musk with his Neuralink, yeah, where they're writing onto your brain and putting shit into your brain and stuff like that, they did their experiments with monkeys, man. And they killed up a whole lot of monkeys, putting chips in their brain and all types of shit, man. Animal cruelty. And yo, not because it's animals. That's the same fucking thing as killing people. They killing the souls. They killing the earth's creatures, man. You understand? So Elon Musk, he ain't never seen that on the news. No one's never pointed that out, talked about that shit. You understand? That's why they go on like him and Bill Gates ain't buddies. Yeah. Yo, it seems to me him and Bill Gates is in some kind of sick rivalry. See who can kill up the most. I'll do it with animals and shit and the environment. You do it with human beings. Let's just kill up a whole bunch of shit. You understand? And I said in Coronation about Bill Gates, this guy started making computers and then computer programs, and then he started getting viruses in his computers, and then they made computer virus programs, virus protection, and then he got smart, like, hold on, so if I make the viruses, I can make the fucking virus control as well. So I can forget the virus control. If I make the viruses, first I'll be able to control them because I made them anyway, yeah, and I can make more money off these viruses by all the people that are going to have to buy this virus protection. Remember, his dad was dealing with eugenics, was dealing with culling the population and population depopulation and stuff. It's not Bill Gates. That shit runs in his family. So his father's eugenics, racist, population, depopulation kind of philosophy, he's put into his computers, like bastard viruses. So I make the computers, people pay me all this money for this big spec computer that's, yo, it's cost a lot of money when it come out, yeah? Now you're gonna have to spend more money, yeah, to get this virus protection program. You know what, this is so good, fuck it. Every year there's gonna be a new virus, so you're gonna have to keep buying new virus programs, man. I'm keeping this shit running. Yo, this is better than weed, this is better than crack, this is better than fucking heroin, this is the best hustle ever, yeah? Now, put that to people. Okay, so I'm going to make vaccines. I'm going to make viruses. So forget computers. I'm going to apply this to people, human beings. So we're going to have viruses and we're going to have virus protection. Vax, yeah? So I'm working this shit. Yo, I don't even need computers no more. Yo, Bill Gates has quit Microsoft. My man, you don't even know what he does no more. He's just got this foundation and he does what the hell he wants. That computer shit, that's in the past. Microsoft, yo, that's gone. He's still the face of it, yeah. But yo, he don't have much shit to do with that no more. My man's moved on to bigger and better things, buying up all the land in the earth so he can team up with Monsanto to poison all our shit. And show Elon Musk, yo, you're taking the piss, bro. You should have been doing this long time ago. I'm having to do this. Come on, this is your job. That's how it seems to me. Do you get me? So Elon Musk is the same, man. And also, be aware, like we said again, I'll say that a lot because it's kind of based on Coronation, the book, innit? The universities play a big role in what happened with the scamdemic. The major universities of most major countries. So we're talking in America, we're talking like John Hopkins University and shit, America and England especially, but in Australia, New Zealand, other different places, yeah, the universities were already working on these mRNA and RNA vacations since 2010 under DARPA, and they were funded by the Clinton Foundation and the Bill Gates Foundation to the tens and hundreds of millions, and they get funded yearly. So this shit was made, and remember what I said, it's philanthropists like what's his name, Soros and other ones, and Bill Gates that make up these foundations so they can really hide a dark agenda and style it off like they're doing something good for humanity. It's a lie. They're all fronts, excuse me. Yeah. I've already talked about North Carolina military bases. So I want to say this as well, what you're not going to hear them say on BBC, CNN, Fox, or any of them mainstream news channel. Yeah. America has not only got bioweapons labs in Wuhan, China, it's got bioweapons labs in the Ukraine, on the border with Russia, more than one, that they're paying for with your taxpayers' money. And they've termed it as defense. Like it's some army thing, defense, to defend America and shit. Defend what? They're doing that same gain of function shit right there on Russia's border. And Putin now, and his role is saying, oh, Americans are making bioweapons and viruses on our border and I'm not having it. So you see where I'm going with this? You see where this is going? So if they bomb up the place and they've got 3-4 biolabs there like the Wuhan thing, who's to say we don't have 3-4 more CV type things just leap out during this war? You understand this proxy war, what they've manipulated? It's not to say it's not happening, but it's a counterfeit proxy war. It's manipulated. Do you understand? Like all the wars, yeah, and they control both sides. Putin isn't a savior, and neither is Trump, neither is Biden. None of them are. They're playing out a play. So they got bioweapons lab there, right down the Russian border, man. Yeah, and they're not reporting that in the mainstream media. They're just painting. Remember, it's a narrative thing. So the West is being painted as the protagonist, the good guys, the saviors, yeah, the civilized, yeah, and Putin is being painted as the despot. Your role is the despot. You're the bad man, the ruffian. You understand? The lunatic, yeah, the Mr. Madman, yeah. So they're painting up this rhetoric. Donald Trump, you're the savior. This would have never happened if Joe Biden never came in. Joe Biden is weak. You understand? We need you to say this before you come out of office. Tell the world what's going to happen. And then when it all goes peak, you're going to run again in 2024. And you're going to beat everybody. Yeah? Yo, come on. They're making it up as they go along by gauging us. And they know how to trap us. And that's why most of us fall back under the spell, like we did with the celebrities. The celebrities, when the lockdown started, they was everyone's enemy. We didn't want to watch them on Versus. We didn't want to listen to them. As far as we was concerned, yo, where's all these celebrities? How come they're not out here talking down this bullshit? And rare. And they was seen through. And a lot of shit started coming out about these celebrities and they got exposed. And as soon as this shit started dying down, we need something quick. You know what? Versus. Let's do a Versus, yeah? And what he would do is focus the people back on these fucking celebrities again. And because we're humans, our human will get in the way, and because we like DMX and Snoop and Mary J, we'll forget all the fucking bullshit that these guys represent. because we're attached to these songs and shit, man. They've ingrained in us and stuff. And slowly we started walking out of that resentment that we had for these. Yo, it got at one point, people were storming Hollywood. Yo, do you remember that? People were running up in Hollywood, man, like, yo, where's these guys? They were running up on CNN offices and all types of shit. And slowly, they started getting brave. One or two of them come out in the public. Kanye was seen in the public tonight. Or fucking Jay-Z and some charity thing. And they started weaning themselves back in. They do this little versus thing, going like, yo. And it's the same now, what's happening now. The same with George Floyd. We keep letting them off the hook, yeah, because they are controlling our emotions. They hit us right in the core with these movies and these mass media agendas and shit. It's no coincidence, man. So Trudeau and the truckers, remember they say Trudeau is supposed to be the child of Fidel Castro. That's supposed to be the argument. I'm not saying it's true. That's his name, Trudeau. It's Trudeau, innit? Yeah, is he the son? It's Trudeau. Yeah, Trudeau is supposed to be the son of Fidel Castro. But on paper, his dad on paper, whatever Trudeau, the senior, he was some high up Illuminati dude as well. Like all of this shit was planned. It was planned for him to come into power and everything and to do what he's doing. Yeah, and the truckers, don't get it twisted as well. I'm not going to go as far as saying the truckers is like some crisis actors and shit. That shit's for real, man. Yeah. Trudeau's reaction with it, yeah, is for real. It's Canada's, like I said, Canada is a testing ground just as much as Australia is a testing ground for Western democratic nations, yeah. And all governments are paying attention to if Trudeau can successfully manage this truckers protest, or if the truckers will overpower him. Because if he can do it, I kid you not, all of our governments are going to be using that template. Remember what Trudeau has now said? Them mandates that he brought in for Corona might stay forever. Like, we've already had that rhetoric decided upon from the Conservatives and Boris and them toffs talking about the same. They don't want to move back. All these laws they brought in for Corona, they don't want to change them back now. Yeah, I'm talking about mandates and certain changes to the law that they made. I'm not just talking about them saying, oh yeah, wear a mask for a week. Saying the changes they made to the legal framework of the law. Them shits is here to stay. We're now in a dystopian West, modelled off of China. Trudeau was praising China's government, even saying that, yeah, it's a dictatorship, but they're so successful at controlling their water and their energy. Yo, that's the model for all of them, China. And I said that in Coronation when the shit first started happening in Wuhan, telling you how it's a 5G city and it's a model that the cabal are going to use to now give to the world. And so they started singing China's praises. Soon, first, they were going on like, oh, it's China's fault and rare. And then after, they was like, oh, China's got it in control so fast. Remember, as I told you in my book, so I don't forget because I wrote this shit down, like China had already control their situation before they even had a vacation. They didn't even need a vacation. That shit was under full control in Wuhan where it broke out. That shit had lower deaths. I've got the tables in here. I'm not going to find it out here. Find it. I had the tables in here. Yo, wow. Look, that show you exactly how much people died in China, in other areas. And you're like, hold on. How can China be lower than like America and stuff? America's way over there. The shit started there. How can China have lower death rate than most of these nations? It's a mad thing. But they had that shit under control before they even had a vaccine. And remember, their vacation came out a couple months well before America had or UK had. China and Russia, they had their shit first. That Sputnik shit that the Russia is using. And what's the China one called again? It's in my book. I forgot what it's called, man. Yeah. They had theirs first. And they were giving them out free to certain like UN staff and WHO staff. Putin and them were giving them free and stuff. Hold on, guys. So yeah, we're in a dystopian world that is not the same. It's unrecognizable in the way that it works, in the way that things work. Imagine might look totally the same on the surface to you, but it's totally different. It's not the same world. Yeah, so on other lives, I've told you about how we're in a simulation. Naturally, this whole shit that we're in that we call reality is a computer-generated holographic simulation. And this simulation is got a timer on it. So it will come to a certain point where the ones of us who are vibrating high enough will see through it. It will crumble around us. We'll see through it and we'll ascend into our highest self, the best character of us, which will put us on the vibration to leave this prison planet. Do you understand what I'm saying? We'll see through this simulation. So what's happening now is they don't want to lose their grip, like Agent Smith at the end of the Matrix. He don't want to fucking terminate himself, so he'll create something else or make himself something else. Now what they're doing is making augmented reality. They need to make another simulation to trap the people that can't ascend, so they can trap them people with them in what they're calling these CGI and artificial intelligence and transhumanism and metaverse and augmented reality and augmented humans. All of that shit there, yeah, is part of them creating that new simulation, that new duality, which is not a reality. And that's why all of these companies are putting their life on this technology, whether they fail or not. Do you think Mark Zuckerberg didn't know he might lose 500 billion when he goes into this shit, when he changes Facebook's name? Facebook is like the biggest name in the whole world. That's like Nike saying one day, okay, I'm changing my name. People are like, huh? How can you change the Nike logo, that swoosh, and the name? That's like, that cannot benefit you. There must be some big prize that you want for if you ever change that name Nike. There's some fucking thing going on that I don't know about. Sorry about my language. I'm trying to swear less. I'm working on it, yeah? I'm doing better. Yeah, so nobody's querying. Hold on, Facebook just changed that. Facebook's basically the biggest online brand since the internet got going. There's nothing like it. You probably put Google or YouTube, maybe, or Apple, something like Apple. But Facebook's up there with the big boys, you know what I'm saying? So for Facebook to change its name, and none of us don't just dwell on that, hold on, why have they changed their name? Because just that alone, they could lose billions of stuff. Hold on, what's metaverse? Nobody ain't familiar with that. I can go China and say Facebook. I can go Australia and say Facebook. Rare. Obviously now people know metaverse is with Facebook, but it can still fail because it might not work the same as Facebook. Look how easy it is to say FB, Facebook. Metaverse is a whole mouthful of business, man. It don't sound the same, it don't sit the same or nothing. Do you understand? But they were willing to put all this money into this untried technology because we ain't tried it before in our generation, in our modern times on Earth. Even if it's been on Earth before, we ain't had this shit. Yeah? So they're staking everything on this technology. That must tell you that this technology they're desperate for it. They need it. They can't function no more. Just say, okay, it didn't work, let's carry on. If it don't work, they can't carry on. It's the end of the road for them. You need to understand that in nature, it's the end of the world, the road for them. They're going extinct. So there's a lot of narratives running right now to keep you away from these truths that me and other people are giving you. Do you understand? That's why there's so many angles to what's going on right now. It's because, like, if you was in a boat and a hole appeared, you have to plug that hole, and then another hole appeared, you have to plug that hole, and holes everywhere. You're plugging all these holes. That's basically what your governments are doing. They're plugging up all these holes. Even a simple thing like critical race theory. It's like, yo, we need to plug up this hole. You know, everybody's getting onto us about slavery and the falsification of history and how we are as Neanderthal descent. Yo, we have to create a term to stop it. Okay, critical race theory. Okay, anytime anybody tries to speak about the history of the white people, we'll just say this is critical race theory. It's not allowed in the school. It's not allowed in university. It's not allowed in the workplace. It's not allowed in the army. So now nobody can talk about all the evil that we've did as white people because it's just going to seem like a racist thing. So it's like critical race theory is like me saying conspiracy theory. It sounds the same, innit? Critical race theory, conspiracy theory. It's the same shit. It's just another kind of like subdivision of the shit. Just like conspiracy theory can stop an argument. If a man was like, yo, reptilians are, oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist, they've took the steam out of the conversation. They've like fucked up the team. Yeah, it's the same with critical race theory. They're trying to do now. It's not going to work. Because as far as black people are concerned, we're going to continue to speak about all the shit they ever did. We're going to speak more about it now. We're going to make our children know about it. You understand? We don't care if you don't teach it in your curriculum. That shit's in our house, home curriculum. That shit's in the curriculum and Treasures in the Sun and shit. Yeah, you can call it critical race theory all you want. We call it white history. Yeah, and that white history, for me, slavery's included in there. That's not my, slavery's not my history. Slavery's your history. That's your legacy. That's the only shit you ever did that you can brag about, and you don't even want to speak about it. Everything else, we did the shit. You understand what I'm saying? So we need to like create our own narrative, create our own values, create our own curriculum, create our own agendas. If you haven't already started doing that, you're late to the party. I've been doing that for years right now, and I'm beginning now to see the rewards of it. As to, yo, it was critical for me to make certain decisions like, yo, I'm not going to work no more and be a wage slave. I'm going to make my own wage. I'm going to sign my own check. It might take me a while to get where I need to get to, and that's not to make anyone feel bad that hasn't done that. But I'm just giving you my truth. I was like, shit, man, if I go back to work for these Mzungu, that means I don't believe in my shit. I don't believe in what I do here, talking to the people. I don't believe in writing my books. I don't believe in doing my music. Yeah, if I'm going to go back there, now that this lockdown's happened, it's giving me the opportunity, are you going to do it or not? Man, I was scared, I can't lie. It's like, how the fuck am I going to eat and do certain things and clothe myself and shit? Certain times I didn't even know where the next shit was going to come from. But then it got to a point where I developed a consistency. It was like, hold on, I'm doing just as good as if I was working for a Mzungu. So I can only go up from here. Do you understand? And just stayed on the path where, yo, let me use my creativity to pay me, man. I'm tired of being a wage slave, waking up when I don't want to wake up and shit. And by the time I come home, my brain's so dead. I can't even work on what I wanted to work on, whether it's writing a book or a piece of music or whatever. My brain's drained, mate. They've took all that, that's zapped my brain. So we're in a dystopian world now, man. You understand? And something on the horizon is coming. That's why they're distracting us with this war thing. I personally believe like that other reel that I posted with the 5 sons and Nibiru. 5 sons, I ain't never seen 5 sons. The most I've seen is 3. I've seen 3, one picture, it's a picture of a sunset with 3 sons. And this is back in maybe 2018, 2019, when there was a lot of that going on. But yo, that shit that Alethea, shout out Alethea, Empress Lotus, that she sent to me, I feel like that shit's recent. Like, I'm talking about like last couple of days now. I could be wrong. But I feel like that's what's really going on. Do you understand? There's shit in the sky that they don't want us to see. Now that could be, we could see it as like, it's real suns, 5 real suns. But I feel like all them shits that they launch up, China's launched a fake sun, NASA's got international sun simulator. I believe there's about 2 that we don't know of that never told us. They just launched them shits up. Elon Musk was launching up all of them fucking shits that look like something you ain't never seen. Like, what the hell is that? It don't look like a rocket. Or they was just launching up all types of shit. Now we're getting videos of like 5 shiny bright lamps, whether it's the sun. You know what I'm saying? Like with Nibiru at the top. I believe that shit's going on now. And I believe that they have to pull these wars and say, yo, Putin, we have to go to war, you know, because the shit's peak. The way we're getting attacked, and we're not going to be able to explain it unless we, like, our war, it was the Russians, it was the Americans, yeah? Everybody stay indoors, martial law, no food, no work, no... people can't really concentrate on what the fuck's going on. They really believe this war shit. When they see these soldiers coming out the bush with the white flag, the Ukraine has surrendered, and this, that, they do it in every war, man. They've used this same formula since the 50s and 60s, the same stories. Oh, Libya, they're terrorists, it's threatening the world peace and our way of life. Okay, we're done with Libya, Gaddafi's old, man. Okay, Arafat, Hezbollah, Hamas, Israel, yo, them Palestinians are a threat, and yo, it's gonna upset the whole Middle East. Okay, them niggas is weak. The Arafat there's dead. Next, Bin Laden. This guy's serious, man. He used to fucking work for the CIA, FBI. He's from a rich Arabian family. He's got P. Skrilla, so he can fund this shit. Yeah? Okay, he died. He's dead, man. And nobody ain't listening to Bin Laden no more. Okay, Omar Mullah. They had Taliban. They had fucking, what's that other guy name? Muqtada Sadar. Muqtada al-Sadar. Omar Mullah. Fucking hell. What's this guy name? Assad. President Assad of Syria. Yo, they just changed their face just like your presidents. Yeah, just like your presidents, Truman, Eisenhower, fucking Carter, who else? Bush, times two, yeah, Clinton, fucking Obama, Trump, Biden. Change the faces, same fucking president, man, same shit, man. Yeah, it's the same thing they do with the terrorists. And it was changing all the faces of these terrorists and shit, and running these same news stories to cover up the fact that this alien shit been going on for a very long time. And over that whole long period, they've been telling people, you're crazy, yeah? They dash people out the window to keep them quiet. They fucking commit people to a life in the crazy house, silence you, mate, quit you from the jobs, bro. Bob Lazar, you're a liar. They've destroyed people, man, for this whole 70 years covering this shit up, man. Now they're coming and telling you there's Pentagon people. They sitting on the mainstream channels telling you, yo, this alien shit, all them people that used to tell you about aliens and you thought they were crazy, them niggas was right. You understand? And you're crazy for not believing them. You're crazy for believing in your government. Like you hear me keep saying, make your way to your nearest conspiracy theorist because your government's lying to you. You better make your way to one of us for the nearest, for the next set of directions. Or you might find your ass walking off a cliff soon. Do you understand? Following this mainstream media and following these snake oil salesmen and saleswomen that just want to have a fucking ego trip. I'm telling you, man. Yeah, in the Quran it says, a day will come when Allah's going to roll back the sky. Yeah, it's the same thing that's said in the Bible. Yeah, I'm sure it's in the Old Testament and the Torah and that, where it says there will be a new heaven and a new earth. In fact, it might be Revelation, but it's in the Quran. I've put it in my books. I can't pull it from my head right now. Yeah, but some of you might be familiar with these passages from the Bible and Quran. Allah says that the sky will roll up like a scroll. Will roll up like a scroll. Yeah, and in the Bible, the Torah, it says, God will make a new heavens and a new earth, for the old heaven and the old earth will have passed away, and he will have made a completely new. What do you think's happening now? You really think we're in the same location, whether you want to call it cosmos or universe? I don't use the word space, yeah, but do you really think we're in the same quadrant of the cosmos or the universe? Because we ain't. I'm telling you that. Like the rules, everything's changed. We're in a new heavens, a new earth. There's more planets out there, even in our vicinity, than they've told us. You understand? They're relegating other planets, telling you Pluto's not a planet no more. We've got all this weird shit going on, like timeline clashing with the Mandela effect and that. So Sophia the robot has fixed that now, but there's still like damage that's been done off of it. Do you understand? There's all of this madness going on because like the Bible and Quran said, a new heaven and a new earth, a new reality is going to emerge, yeah, because this simulation is going to roll back and then you're going to see what the real reality is, not this simulation duality shit that they've been giving us. You understand? So the narrative that they're giving us with Putin is that, remember, Putin is against the Nazis. As far as he's concerned, the Ukraine's full of Nazis. Remember them Russians, the Red Army, they're the ones that stopped the Nazis. Stalingrad, yeah, where they halted the Nazis, yeah, and they became known as the kind of like heroes of World War II for stopping Hitler's unstoppable army. So now you've got to understand, it's the same theme that they're giving to this Putin now, as to why him and they're having it like him and the Ukraine are not good, because a lot of Nazi sympathizers live in the Ukraine. Do you see what I'm saying? And so they don't really agree with, I'm talking about the population, they don't really agree with how Russia runs their thing and that. So they're their own thing, the Ukraine. But as far as Putin's concerned, like he said, yo, he's going to wipe out the last of this Nazi scourge in the Ukraine. As far as he's concerned, these niggas is Nazis down there. Do you get me? So they're giving the same Red Army narrative to Putin, but obviously in the West, we don't. The West don't see communism as no hero. It's basically China downgraded. So China's kind of communist socialist is worse than Russia, but Russia's not far off. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they're standing Putin as the bully, yeah, kind of like a dictator, semi-dictator bully of that region, and China's buddy. You understand? And Putin and Chinese are standing themselves as the liberators, and the West as the bullies, as the West as the ones that are bullying them and coming in their backyard and having biolabs and having army bases and shit. Do you see what I'm saying? And I was saying to people, man, don't fall for it. Don't fall for Trump Social. Don't fall for the BBC and CNN and Fox and even RT, Russian television. And even now, Gravitas. I'm not saying, like, Gravitas, I still watch it. But I'm aware that, you know what, all through that pandemic thing, they was proper advocating this thing, man. You understand? And I was like, yo, for me, they've just dropped. Yeah? Yo, but don't listen to none of them stuff, because all of them are going to be giving you this propaganda about the war, and some of it's movie set business. You can't even tell if that's in Ukraine. That could be in America. That could be in England. You can't really tell what's going on. It could be on a Hollywood set. Do you understand? So lock off them TVs. Stop listening to them. And please, if me and you are in contact, don't send me nothing from BBC or CNN or Fox or RT. You can send me Gravitas still, but please, if you send me something from them ones, BBC and Fox and Sky News and stuff, I'm not gonna watch it, because I ain't watched them shits for like years. Maybe 1 or 2 times I'll tell myself, let me see what they say about these robot nurses and stuff. But really and truly, I don't watch it, especially when I'm trying to find out what's going on with something like a war, where they'll just lie about the shit. With robots, they basically just tell us, okay, we're gonna have robots. But when it comes to certain things, I don't want to listen to them kind of big corporate channels, because they've got an agenda, they've got a narrative, and they're all paid for by Pfizer and certain different groups with interests, man. And the same with I will still watch Russell Brand and Joe Rogan and Alex Jones and David Icke and stuff. But as far as I'm concerned, them people to me is controlled opposition. You understand? And I could be wrong on some of them, but I rather, you know how they say we're innocent until proven guilty? These niggas is guilty until something proves, okay, yo, he's for real. To me, they're all, I don't trust none of them, man. They're all guilty. Yeah, David Icke a lot. And in my humble opinion, you can tell who's the planted ops, because it's like the numbers just don't match. Like Russell Brand, he's not an unlikable guy, but he's not the kind of guy where you think 5 million people follow him. Why? For what? Why is his opinion so valuable? Nah, man, they put him there. They gave him that following, just like they put these musicians like that too. You know, there's certain musicians and film stars and stuff. They planted that person there and backed them. And soon as they got a little interest, pushed up their numbers and blew them up. They do it with artists. They do it with Hollywood stars. They do it with celebrities. They do it with sports stars. Yo, they do it with fucking, like now, the truther movement. You understand? And put them in there, podcast people, Joe Rogan and stuff, and give them these big platforms. They can do that. They can switch a button and make you have 6 million followers and shit now. Alex Jones. I'm not saying nobody want to listen to them, but these people ain't so interesting or so good at what they do or so good looking, or that all of these people want to listen to them, Dan. They're not a Mike Tyson. I can understand Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's Mike Tyson. Do you understand what I'm saying? But Joe Rogan ain't no Mike Tyson. Russell Brand ain't no Mike Tyson. There's people that's giving way more information than these dudes on the certain things they're talking about and shit, without the sensationalism and shady little remarks and racist remarks or stereotypes, you know, colonial narratives or whatever. But these guys have got massive platforms. As far as I'm concerned, they're controlled opposition. And it's not just because of the numbers. I just felt like that for a while. And lately I've been thinking, yo, that's why they got all these numbers, you know. Like, how much million people following them and shit. Why? There's not all them people interested in what the fuck they're saying. That's some lying thing. That's like your Facebook friends. They probably got, Alex Jones probably got like 30 people following him. And then they put on like 3, 4 more zeros on the shit. Russell Brand probably got like 5 niggas following him. And they put, yo, this he's got 5 points. Yeah, I'm not falling for none of it, mate. So yeah, they're about to summon up the Antichrist. I'm going to finish soon, guys. I know I've said a lot. Yeah, I didn't even realize that this would be so long. But anyway, I've enjoyed it. I hope you have. So let me close it out. Where was I? Yeah, they're summoning the Antichrist, man. And it gives them bragging rights, whichever side of the coin is going to do it. Remember, it's the Janus thing, the double-headed thing, and the double-headed eagle. So you have the House of Dragon and the House of Phoenix. Yeah, and the rituals that they're doing, we have a part to play in it too. According to what we allow on Earth will determine how low they can bring the vibration, because they need to bring the collective vibration, the human resonance, to a certain low frequency so they can initiate certain acts like bringing the Antichrist spirit into this realm so it can walk in a human vessel, in a body and shit. They've did this ritual before. I've told you in the last live, the Babylon ritual with Jack Parsons and Robin Oppenheimer and them. It was discovered by Aleister Crowley, who said that one of his teachers, meaning a jinn or a spirit or a reptile, one of them taught him this technique, this ritual, where if they do it, yeah, the person, and then make a pregnancy, the person born will incarnate that fucking demon spirit. So they know that it works. Yeah, so they're doing certain rituals now to bring in this particular Antichrist, who would be supposed to be the devil in flesh, or who Muslims want to call Masih al-Dajjal, the one-eyed king. Okay, and that's why they need these stars and Hollywood and everyone else to keep spellbinding us, so we can get used to these rituals, so we can't even see them hidden in plain sight and stuff, with the sigils and symbols and certain performances that singers do, artists do, different kind of people do, right in your face without us even knowing that. Yeah, and so it brings the vibration of the planet down, because the vibration is very high, so it's like a tug of war. They need to pull it down so they can initiate certain things, because it keeps bouncing back up. It's so high right now. Certain low vibrational beings can't even function on the planet the way they used to function. Do you understand? A lot of them are gone off planet. Yeah, so from here, you've got to write your own narrative. You've got to build your own set of values. I'm taking this from Dr. Mumbi. I'm not taking credit for what I'm saying it here. Yeah, I got this part from watching Dr. Mumbi. And for me, that was a dot connector when she was saying, you've got to build your own narrative, your own matrix. We're matrix builders, like I've said in my own lives. You've got to build your own boundaries, your own focus, your own philosophy, your own principles around you, because that's going to protect you. It's going to put you in the 5D, yeah, and it's going to make you, when they say bringing forth your best self or your better self, it's going to put you in the best character of you, because it's when you tune into a certain characters in you have certain ancestral powers or don't have certain ancestral powers. Like if you're in one certain type of mood or vibration, you might be blocked from certain powers that operate only when you are in this vibration and you're tuned into this character of yourself, because this is the higher character of yourself. Do you understand? We don't understand how much the things we watch, the people that we listen to, the books that we read, our friends, shape how we feel about ourselves, and the self-talk we give to ourselves when we go to sleep at night. I know you guys have self-talks with yourself, because I do. And don't get it twisted. Sometimes I struggle with it. I'm catching myself like, yo, why am I thinking so negative about my shit? Do you understand? And yeah, it's so important to catch yourself and put yourself into that gratitude and put yourself into that higher vibration, because how you end your day, how you go to sleep at night, and how you wake up, how you start your day in the rising, determines a lot about where you're going to go in life, what you're going to become in life, what you think about yourself. Like, it's all connected. So we have to step into the best character of ourselves. And that's why it's so important to be around soul fam and to people who feel like sunshine and pull that sunshine out of you and make you want to be in your best character. Not people who are constantly triggering you to be someone who you probably don't want to be no more. Do you understand? If you know better anyway. Build your own world, man. Yeah, because we've got an opportunity right now. The world slowed down and a lot of us didn't realize, hold on, this is an opportunity for me now to build my own narrative and build my own life, business, whatever it is. Do you understand? It's an opportunity for us to work on ourselves, to go push for our ambitions and achieve that dream, or even begin something anew. Yeah, the opportunity presents itself and it's not going to last much longer. It's going to go back to a chaos soon, whether it's war and it's gone nuclear now. One of these geezers has dropped off a nuclear. Remember all of these things that have been leading up to this point talked about how this shit ends in a nuclear war, and the nuclear war wipes out like half of humanity or some mad shit like that if we're on the Revelation timeline. And then to make matters worse, some meteor, climate change shit, some meteor drop out the sky in the Atlantic, smashes up resources, smashes up there's a whole bunch of shit that is prophesized on these timelines. Remember, we've had this mark of the beast, Revelation 13:16. We've been tracking this shit. Now we're going up to the point where it's meteor drop out the sky and shit, going up into Revelation 21. That's when this Nibiru thing really supposed to send out this crystal city, what they call in the bride of Christ. Shit's about to go down, man. Expect this war to spread and affect everything. And again, I'm not being a doomsday prophet. I'm just telling it how it is. Yeah, I'm calling a spade, man. Make sure, that you prepare, because it's going to affect everything. I'm talking work, jobs, finance, supply chain, food, biological weapons, medical, wages, inflation, energy, like your gas and electric, fuel, petrol for your car. This shit's it's gonna spread. And if those bioweapons labs get bombed, because there's already reports that the Russians went to bomb them first. So, okay, we're just going to bomb these biolabs and release this thing on these, man, innit? So there's reports already that, they went and bombed up all these US labs in the Ukraine and shit, then. That's terrible news. You understand? So we can expect similar shit to CV, man, to the same shit that we just had. And this is their chaos theory, like I said about they control both sides. They control both sides, and they do have grudges, because they're having a grudge match, because it doesn't matter who wins. The stronger one wins. If Putin gets most of the world behind him, then the power shifts to him. They say, okay, we roll with Putin because we're going to con the world through Putin. He's winning the... it's a game to them, man. It's like a chess game. So expect similar shit to CV, And remember I said in Coronation how the chaos theory is designed to wear us out. So that on, off, on, off, on, off. We're constantly thinking, okay, we go back to normal, no, another lockdown. We go back to normal, no, another lockdown. We go back to normal, another lockdown. This vaccine thing, okay, they've relaxed the mandate. Now it's war. Now it's war. War started. Now it's war. They're keeping this chaos thing going to wear us out, man. So you just, by the time they're done with you, you're like, you just raise the white flag. You just take whatever they're giving you just to try and get some kind of normality back, because people are weak. Humans in this society, they can't do without little conveniences, whether it's running water or electric or heat. Certain people can't do without little conveniences. There's people who can't even do without having to go clubbing every weekend. You get me? Running off from their wife or running off from their husband because they can't stand his ass or whatever. Man, trouble times ahead. Trouble's coming. And it's inevitable that all of this is going to go back to what I mentioned earlier, which is critical race theory. A lot of the problems in the world trace back to critical race theory and religion. And for the most part, so far, they've escaped scrutiny. Everybody just keeps talking around the real pivot points. They don't want you to talk about critical race theory, colonialism, reparations, the record of white people and how they made slavery an industry. Yes, people have had slaves of war and prisoners of war before, but no human ever made an industry like you're selling sugar or you're selling fucking wood. They made an industry out of humans and made it a world thing. Do you understand? They don't want us to talk about that, but it's gonna go right back to that discussion based around race and religious beliefs, which is just like imaginary friends. When children make up imaginary friends, you call it crazy. Yeah, they make up like fake stuff. You call it imaginary friends. You say, yo. When adults do it, you call it religion, and everyone just accepts it. It's a mental sickness. Do you understand? It's a sickness, man. Yeah, but it's inevitable that all these discussions we're gonna get to it, because if you check this whole scamdemic thing, at the start of it, there were certain things that the mainstream public, they didn't want to entertain that kind of discussion. Like even when we're talking about, even if you take the vacations, at first you couldn't tell people, oh, it's hurting people. No, it's not. You lot are just conspiracy theories. It took a whole bunch of people to start going on funny and dying and shit for people to now say, well, hold on, a whole lot of people have been damaged by this thing. But before they seen it in real time, yo, that was just some kind of next conspiracy theory. Do you get me? So you can see how far we're going. And it's the same when we're talking about reparations. There's now white folk talking about reparations. Me personally, I don't want nothing from them other than our shit. Like, get off our land, give us back all the shit you took out of our land from our ancestors, and fuck off. Whatever you owe us, you can write that off. Take that shit back to the cave or whatever with you. Do you understand what I'm saying? But there's people talking about it, and the fact that there's people talking about it, white people and stuff, more so now, yeah, is showing you how dread this time is. We're gonna have to talk about the record of the Mzungu and what they've did and are still doing. And there's people who say, oh, well, that was 200 years ago, so I don't think like we should talk about it. And yo, them white families were getting paid up to 2000, when was it, 2014? They were getting reparations because slavery ended. Not the slave victims, the slave families who owned slaves. Yo, how can slavery end? Yo, we're making 3 million a year off this shit. Where are we gonna get our money from? Government's like, you know what? We'll pay you 3 million a year. They paid these niggas, banks like Lloyd's Bank and shit, man. Governments, they paid these families, yeah, all the way up to 2014 when people started finding out, people that started digging and shit and hearing stuff. Hold on, they're still paying these families. Hold on, they're paying slave masters reparations, and they ain't never paid. Yo, shit's about to come out. Critical race theory, religion, how religion has been used to govern people. And how your church, your mosque, yeah, your synagogue, they're all in on this scam. They turned into vacation centers and shit. All them shits was closed. The Vatican was closed. They can't do nothing save you some no corona. Mecca was closed, mate. Ain't no fucking Hajj going on. That shit's closed for business, rude boy. Where's Allah? You understand? That shit ain't saving you. Like, it's real. We're going to get to all of them discussions. It's inevitable. And it doesn't matter how much they try and put it off. Hebrew Israelites, Muslims, Nation of Islam, yeah, yo, Christians, it don't matter. We're going to get there, and you're going to find out that that God you've been worshipping is like the Wizard of Oz behind that curtains. He's a counterfeit, yeah? And I'm sorry if you think, if you're offended by that, it's the truth must be spoken, and the ancestors ain't going to apologize to no one, and no one's God. You understand? And we put down Amun, yeah? So we still carry the genes of our ancestors, and a lot of the time they speak through us, you understand? And a lot of their talents show up in us, yeah, that they utilized during their time here, and which made them immortals and made them like deities on the earth. And a lot of us ain't getting into character so that we can bring these gifts online, you understand? Basically, that's what I wanted to say. I'm just going to end on this, yeah? The Iron Age put the Mzungu in power. Prometheus, yeah, the Greek legend tells you about how one of the demigods or Nephilim gave humans fire and iron when he shouldn't have. This is talking about a certain Nephilim giving these Mzungu the industry of iron, the iron industry, which sparked the Iron Age, where they focused on, okay, we're going to make better weapons, because we as a people, we didn't concentrate on making, we already had iron and stuff, used it for like ceremonies and shit. Yeah, it's proven that we've had iron smelting shit before the Iron Age in Africa. Yeah, but these Mzungu used it to make weapons. So where we were still fighting with sticks and stones, and that we could both go home to our families. One of us might beat the other one up to teach us a lesson. Now it's a killing thing. Yeah, it's a killing thing. And we took it to as far as bronze. We had bronze and copper tools and weapons and shit. But when you got someone coming with iron, yeah, and his iron sword whacks your copper sword, your copper sword's getting chopped in half, rude boy. This ain't no like little brother rivalry no more. This shit here is some bloodlust thing, some killer thing, you understand? So we never even made them weapons at first. We had to, follow them and say, we need to make some of that shit that you see in my man's sword. I'll just chop my thing in half, Dan. You understand? So we started making iron weapons and going into the full-blown Iron Age, and we had to learn these jewels of war to the point where we could produce people like Tutmosis III and Taharqa and shit. Man, that, come with the iron to lick your head off. But we were forced into that position when they were given this iron industry. And remember, the iron industry is a life of hardship. Smelting iron and beating it, and like your blacksmith, and soot in your face and heat, you could burn yourself, scald yourself. It was hard work, a hard living at the best of times. And that's their style of living. But if you check that today, it's the same. We don't make guns. Yeah, there's no black people that you can say, okay, they make Smith and Wessons, that's a black company, or Beretta, it's a black company, or them black people there, they make Glock 26, yeah, or we don't make shit. We don't make Kalashnikov. We don't make AK-47. Them shit come from non-melanated people, whether it's Russians, whether it's American, Europeans, yeah, whether it's them hammer fight Pakistanis and Indians and shit. We don't make nuclear bombs. We don't make fighter jets. We have our governments in Africa or wherever else, they have to buy that shit off Mzungu. We don't make that shit. And it's the same how it was in ancient times. We didn't make war in the way that they suggest. They did that shit and they doing it now. Do you understand? And also, before I forget, Biden it's often been spoken about that he's got handlers. Oh, his handlers tell him what to say. They won't allow him to say this. They won't allow him to say that. They cut the camera off when they know he's going to mess up and that. If I was to ask you, have you thought about who Biden's handlers are? Because a lot of us haven't. We just use the word, oh yeah, he's got handlers. He's a bit trippy. Yeah, he's not really the president. Let me tell you something, man. Like I told you in the same coronation. Biden's handlers is Obama. Obama's still in office, man. Obama's running the whole shit for Biden in his name, meaning I'm talking about there's higher ups like reptilians and everyone, but I'm saying to manage this clone or avatar, whatever it is, yeah, skin mask president, yeah, CGI president, who's giving him all, relaying the information to him is Obama and his team. Hillary Clinton, Obama, the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, and they set that shit up from a long time ago. The whole, if you go back now to the Trump administration, you could see everything I'm saying in play, how they were setting it up and bringing it into play and making these narratives and characters and shit. So Biden's handlers is Obama and them, Obamagate, Shadowgate business. That's Obama and them, Dan, is his handlers. You understand? The Democrats. We are gullible people, man. And it's so easy for us to naively believe in these people who don't do nothing for us, who have not done nothing for us, but give us a false sense of reality. The same thing with Boris. He's like a Joe Biden. Well, he's like a Joe Biden cross Trump. I don't even know what Boris is, but he's the same. He's just he's a mess. Yeah. So what this has done, this whole scamdemic, and even now, when this war gets peak, Because what we've seen over the last 2 years is a centralization of power. And you've heard a lot of people say that, so I want to add to that. When I say the centralization of power, it means the centralization of control of all the things in our lives that is significant. Like, let's say, they've got more control of the supply chain. So independent people and small businesses have got less control of the supply chain. They've got more control of your medical freedom, of everybody's medical freedom and medical information, yeah, than they had before. Yeah, they've got more control of food production and food distribution. They've got more control of freedom of movement, you being able to move and then being able to track you and shit. So in every area of our lives, whether it's education, whether it's freedom of travel, freedom of speech, politics, whatever, science, medicine, like, they've took more of the power from you and gave themselves more power and centralized it into this group that we're calling the Kaaba. So there's only a few people or families or organizations that are pulling the strings for everything in the world. So before the scamdemic, if it was like 3,000 groups running the show on Earth, after where we are now, it's like 300. It's like, bastard, they shrunk that shit to, yeah, now you lot lost out. Y'all lost your businesses and the whole shit. We don't need you no more. We want to, like, keep the power closer to family. That's what I mean when I say it to you. That's what we've seen happen over the last 2 years. And guess what? When this war starts going, yeah, if this is the war to get going, because let me say this, I've been telling you guys, even the day before this war kicked off, I quoted Matthew 24:6, right? And it said, wars and rumors of war. So this could be the real war, or it could be the rumor of the war. They could pack up and go home tomorrow. So I'm saying, if it's the real war, then this is going to get nasty. Do you understand? But don't think that it has to be the real war. This could just be a false flag, a cry wolf, and they do it a couple more times. So that when the war does kick off, we're not even prepared. We've already lost interest because we think it's just them taking the piss. Do you understand? So none of us can sit here and say we definitely know. And if somebody sits down, like, I don't want to listen to them. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys like that. It's definitely this, and this. I'm presenting the facts to you guys. So you can, or the ingredients, so you guys can cook your own meal out of it. Do you understand? I've cooked my meal, and it's guiding me to where I need to be so I can be ahead of the curve, to use their terms. Do you understand? So I want you to be able to do the same. So yeah, hold on. They centralized everything, and now they've got more power among themselves, even in finance. Yeah, finance as well, banking and finance and shit, like borrowing, government borrowing and all of that type of shit. Yeah, and like I said, these restrictions and mandates and acts are done by actors. The whole shit's a government psyops. It's a psychological experiment to see how far they can get us to accept their shit. Yeah. And they just keep pushing. There's never going to be a stop to it. They'll push us off the cliff into hell. You understand? If you don't take a stand, if we don't stand up as a group, united as humans that have grown up enough to know, hold on, all these narratives and racism and religion and politics is all bullshit. And we need to just stop. Yeah? We need to get to that point. Yeah? Don't wait for the storm, man. Prepare for the next stage now. Start prepping now. I've been telling you guys for a while. I've been doing this shit with my brother. Like I said, shout out to my brother. 10 acres, 12 miles outside the city, where if a bomb dropped here now, yo, I'm heading there. Do you understand? I spend more and more time there lately. Do you understand? I'm doing lives from there and stuff. Yeah, because a lot of us talk this, but we're not really preparing and having that unity among us in the family, in the friend circles, in the soul fam, and getting your team around you, because you're gonna need, no man is an island. Don't wait for the storm, man. Get your necessities, contact your support groups, start interacting with people. Like, you understand? When guys, when you come on my lives or when you come on my Instagram and stuff, guys that I interact with, I want you to interact with each other. I want you to introduce yourself to each other. We got to stop being stush and shit. Like each of us can probably learn something from each other and teach something to each other. And in order to find yourself from a network, we got to take that ice away and stop always thinking sexually. Like if someone says hello, they're flirting and all of this type of shit. We need to really get serious, man, because time's running out. With the events that's going on around us, I'm sure you can see, if you're still here watching, I'm sure you can see what this is boiling down to and all the moving parts of it. Yeah? Start doing what's necessary, yeah? And also start training yourself to be able to do without certain conveniences, certain things that's not a necessity. That you might say, you know what, I don't need this shit here, you know. Let me do without this shit, just to, not that you have to, but just to start training yourself. Start training yourself, like, mentally and that, and emotionally, creating a psychic self-defense, and start working on your habits and shit like that. And also, in your little circles, start discussing plans of actions and stuff. Some of you guys in my group in the forum and stuff, start suggesting stuff. Don't wait for me to post stuff all the time, you know. You're not in a group to listen to me like I'm some fucking Jim Jones cult follower. You in here so all of us can do this work and spread light with each other. Yeah? Any one of you in that forum, you can say, do you know what? I want us to talk about what's plan A. What would be plan A now if a bomb dropped? Or if they turned up to do mandatory vacations. Like, we need to start instigating these discussions among each other. It can't just be me all the time. Yeah, some of you need to come on a live and maybe bring me on a live or somebody else on a live, and we need to start interacting more, man. Because like I said, I'm not trying to be superior. I'm trying to influence discussion among us so we can start really scrutinizing what the hell's going on around us. And it took me to write books to try and get attention from people, because when I'm speaking with people, people are just not listening. It's not going far enough. And then in my family, it was a religion thing where people are getting offended and stuff. So it was better for me to write down what I wanted to say rather than just having all these debates with family members and friends about religion and Jesus and Muhammad and where. I was like, I'm done. I'm going to write books. And if you don't want to buy it, at least I've put it in a book. Do you understand? But we need to start having these discussions among ourselves, not as like debates with other people. I'm talking about in our circles. All of you that watch these lives, you're supposed to be introducing yourself to each other, because as far as I'm concerned, if you regularly tune into my lives, you're my soul fam. So that means if you're my soul fam, we're supposed to be each other's soul fam, or seek to be anyway. Yeah? So I would love for you lot to do that more, to say, okay, what can I suggest? Or suggest a live, just let's speak about this topic, or let's research about this topic, rather than just post stuff. Like just post videos or post memes or whatever. Suggest shit. Especially if you have something to say the shit. You understand? Start encouraging more interaction with each other. Yeah, on a purely genuine basis. Not for no agenda. Just so we can be more compassionate with each other, man, and more concerned about how each other's coping with the times and shit. I hope y'all are coping. I know it's really intense right now. It's intense for me. I hope you lot are coping with the pressure of the shit. Yeah? Okay, I'm nearly done. Yeah, I've already said it anyway. 5 Sons and Nibiru. I believe the shit's based about that we're going through now on Earth is based on this alien shit done got so crazy that they have to tell us about these wars more and more often. Like, it could be a big gap between each war where they'd have to give us, we need a war narrative, shit's getting peak, you know. We need to make sun simulators and stuff. And then 2 years, and then another, like, 10 years or something. Now it's like, basically, it came to the point, like, every year was some other war, man. Local wars, this war, that war in Syria, war in Afghanistan, war in Iraq. It started getting closer and closer and closer and closer. Now we're in the Ukraine thing. We just had that Syria shit. Before the Syria shit, we just had that Libya shit. Before the Libya shit, we just had that Iraq shit. Before that Iraq shit, we just had that Afghan shit. Before that Afghan shit, we just had that Hezbollah, Israel, Palestine shit. You understand? Before that Palestine shit, 1967, we just had fucking World War II, 1944. So this shit just goes on and on and on. They have to keep giving us these false narratives, Vietnam or whatever else war, to hide up what's really going on. And also remember Antarctica, yeah, and the North Pole and the South Pole, when you're dealing with the plane of the Earth, the plane being flat, the North Pole is the South Pole. And that shit was the region, ancient region, what was called Hyperborea, which was kind of like off limits to regular humans, where certain Anunnakis and shit existed there. This is going back like before fucking Atlantis and everything, Hyperborea. So when you're talking about Russia, yeah, and especially the region of Siberia, you're talking about regions that trickle into Hyperborea and shit, man. And Antarctica with the going into Hollow Earth and shit. You understand what I'm saying? Now is our time. 144,000. There's 144,000 of us that will qualify ourselves to become the governors, the real governors of this earth, because we care about this earth and the beings that live on it. You understand? And I know a lot of you will be watching my videos, and I will come across and cross paths with many of you. And it's time for you to get to step into your better, higher character, so you can bring these your powers online, so you can be flooded back with your memories and shit, man. Yeah. Because what we're fighting for here is the continuation of humanity, and our reward will be 1,000 years of peace. Imagine that. Us as governors, or our families, our children, whoever else, as governors, and there's peace on earth for 1,000 years. We're in a utopia again. The whole shit's like some kind of, magic movie. That's what we need to keep our focus on. That's what the good fight is for. The personal legend, the great work of all the ages. We're going to contribute to bringing in 1,000 years of peace. But before we bring in that 1,000 years of peace, get ready to fight the most nastiest, toughest, bitterest war that you've ever fought. And that's why I kept telling you guys, make sure you're training and you're reading, studying. Don't just study and just read books all day. Yeah, you need to train. And don't just train and be a musclehead and just think about your physical and fucking gym all the time. Spend as much time on your inner self as you do on your outer self, on your gym. I do. Don't think that I just go gym. Like, I find balance in this shit. I use both. Physical, spiritual, mind, body, soul, brains and brawn. That's the live I had for you guys. Let me just go through some of these comments, and then I'll take myself out of you guys. Stop bugging you guys, yeah. Yo, Bedrin, Celestial Samurai. We live in it. This is Idom Ad. Is that your real name? Idom Ad, yeah? We live in a fabricated system made to seem like it has come together. Oh shit, my battery's gonna die. Let me put this down a bit.